tested on this T side with Dosia taking a CT start, but they want to be very assertive to kick things off. xantares running it down with his teammates and finding both the kills that he needs to, but Henry's finding counters and trying to equalize and stabilize, but they can't do it. Cat and Letney at a man disadvantage, and Letney actually choose it right back. So 2-on-2 where both these players are split on the CT side.
Victoria may get the element of surprise, or perhaps not. They were looking up to top middle when she peeked from the left side, so they know that she is here. And with Legia playing passively over on the B, they can take their sweet time here. Loba, Letney, and Kat, yes, they are behind in terms of hit points, but if they can play together, you expect at least a 1-4 trade into a post plant, and then they have the advantage. So that's why they're sticking together. It does mean, though, that Victoria may very well get the drop on them. I think she's pushing into Apps right now. This could be a disaster. And she walks head first straight into Cat. Loba now in a fantastic position in this post plant.
Legia 1-on-2, and he certainly had a standout performance on Mirage as well. Good nade to weaken Cat even further, but inside the bomb site, Letney has...
Yeah, I understand being proactive in those kind of situations, looking for information, but it kind of suggests to me as well that maybe Victoria's a bit uncomfortable.
Starts to fade. We may see more active attempts from Team Dosia to try and knife Loba. They start to see this game slip away from them, as the start would indicate. 3-0 for Team Loba. This buy from Dosia would be very nice for them to attain. Victoria's got her hands on an AWP and will try and hold alongside xantares towards brackets, but has backup as well from Dosia on the low ground. So it's a good job of tagging, slowing Cat on the progression for Victoria to finish off the frag.
Now looking to explode outside of middle past those grenades, but Victoria has the angle. The flash is good, but Victoria just pulls the trigger. Missing the second shot, that could be costly because it allows an AWP and AK to trade hands. They don't pick up the AWP actually, they don't extend that far. And with two players stuck in the pit, one of which is low on xantares, there is still an avenue of aggression where maybe Loba can still take this round yet. And this would be such a brutal loss if Dosia let this one slip. Dosia's going to take the first point of call. They don't realize the second player there. And xantares punishes with 3.
Secondary player to end up swinging right into a headshot. Great stuff from Victoria to kick off this round, but xantares the one that ties the bow on it. And this was a bait and switch. Dosia was already spotted with a little bit more awkward. There's been a lot of brackets priority here from Team Loba in the early phases. Typically, teams, especially pug teams, will throw a lot of presence over towards banana in the early phases. I think Team Loba are respecting the fact that the B-side protocols are going to be well in place if you've got as many tacticians as you do on Team Dosia. I'll have to take those areas of control later on. Good Molotov exchange, one on short, and Dosia deep into the apartments. Make sure that no presence can be made here by the lingering T's around the corner. Cat and Henry.
Doing a good job of stalling this push, though. That's a good HE tossed in. Cat dropped to about half HP, but Letney making the most of that. The lurk smoke will afford him safe passage from the balcony. They're going to run head to head, and Dosia comes out second best. A weakened Cat still comes out swinging. And Victoria straight into the AWP. And the crosshairs do not snap off of her. It's going to be a save for Team Dosia. And Loba goes straight back into winning ways. And there is a danger, there is a threat that this could start to get a little bit scary now on this side, because Loba and the rest of the team are picking up steam. They're getting a good economy built behind them. We're in a situation now where Dosia's gonna have to win 2 or 3 rounds in a row just to break the T's economy.
Saving weapons is very important, and Refresh will stand his ground to at least prevent a couple players on the hunt. This is one of the discrepancies we might note as well, is the fact that Victoria stuck around to fall victim to Acor's AWP. A lot of teams at the top level would have maybe just called it quits so quickly. It will tally up later on if Dosia start winning rounds. Good first kill onto Letney as well, punishing ex-teammate xantares.
Does throw a speculative shot down banana, but doesn't connect on anybody. And for a little while, there's 3 players over on the B side. So they have to trade off Dosia to go join his brethren over on A. But they won't be punished for this just yet. Loba's taking his time, boosting up, looking for an angle, but Victoria hasn't budged. Problem with this spot, though, is it's very susceptible to getting flashed or jump peek from A-core. Run boost into the headshot, and that site has capitulated.
Awkward spot. Dosia still trying to throw some presence over. Acor's actually hunting for him over top of the smoke. So escaping will be very difficult here for Dosia. Okay, that's not the way I thought he'd die, but smoke kill nonetheless. And another round in which Team Loba just make the correct decision, scale into the bomb site, and work perfectly around that pick that Acor is able to get. Again, a correct call. The fact that this not only was Victoria scoped in on the angle, she was double zoomed. So even if she wanted to see the potential for a jump peek, you know, when you see those legs, you might even fire off a shock, make a quick reaction, and then duck away. But there was no reaction because of how zoomed in she was. Stuff, a nice little change considering how things have been going so far. A lot of A-sided plays, a lot of A leans for
up and having impact. Do they have that kind of star player that can just snatch this away? Apart from Refresh, because he's had a bit of a slow start. His 3 kills were all exit frags. They're all trying to save. Oh, there's the answer to the question. Max 7 just rammed straight in the face of Letney, and Victoria will be able to yield the kill. Maybe this is the comeback that we were looking for. However, Loba is still very much a threat because we still have players with deagles. We still have enough firepower on the side of Loba to make a go of this one, but that flash is perfection and legged.
Crossed the arches, and that was what she was mainly focusing her attention on. But as they set their sights on Modo, the flash is just so well placed. They answer back on, in the most unlikely of circumstances, shotguns, pistols, and they're back into full weapons. Everything they could ask for, AKs and AWPs. No warp on the other side for Loba, so contesting Victoria will come down to whether or not she misses a shot or gets overwhelmed. Nice little bait and switch setup orchestrated over. 3 over at the arches, but if they lose that B player, that's Legia overstepping his bounds. They can reinvestigate on Team Loba. Oh, what?
Oh, okay. Okay, Refresh, he's woken up. He had a bit of a daze for the first few rounds, but he's here now. He's arrived. That was beautiful. That second shot especially was disgusting, and it's going to instantly force the respect and the rotation across from Loba. There is a smoke in their eyes and the bottleneck of top banana, but Loba's going to bypass that one as soon as it clears, it would seem. He's already up close. Victoria has the angle, different angle this time from the CT side. May get one, could fall back, takes a dink, but not too bad. She's got the advantage they were looking for on the site, and Quesada's looking to try and pick up the pieces. There's a flash from Henry G. Won't really affect Victoria, but there is the spray. Henry G still in with a chance to wind back the years with 25 seconds. Flashbang up and over. Still 100% of his health maintains, but he's against Refresh and Dosia. 2 dangerous adversaries, and Henry
looked like he was dialed in for this. And great job from Refresh. I mean, that second kill, I don't even know what you can do about it. He's not fully stopped. He's actually trying to transition back into the cubby. Just a couple shots is all that. Dosia are only focused on what's ahead of them. Win this by and likely to have an easier round ahead of you in the next. And Refresh has already got the action started. Henry's feet would likely be exposed. And yeah, that's not a favorable fight. Knew that Refresh was close by, but what was he to do about it? Yeah, a lot of headway into B though. First kill is great, and actually just trying to keep the other player busy, make sure he doesn't get run over. 3-on-3, and they are trapped within this site without having that bomb down just yet. They actually try to set up the boost, but Loba gets plucked out, and 2 more players that remain. These are CT positions. This is like where you're trying to save in conventional circumstances, but that A-core headshot is significant. Legia does know that at least one of these players is on low HP, but both of them are within an inch of their life. A-core standing in the middle of nowhere, and Letney cannot do anything to support him. Legia finds both kills.
Ball in his lap. Well played from Legia at the end. Dividing the core, step up his level significantly. He is a fantastic CT-sided player on Inferno.
Okay. I think that smoke went a little deeper than Refresh anticipated. Thought it would bloom sooner, but still reacted fast enough to kill Cat. He's hit some really stellar shots this game so far. But again, they get brackets control, and that is always lovely territory to have. If they deal with the Moto player in Cassad, they could have some options as well to split the B bomb side. There are 3 players over that direction, though. Dink. Kassad just an inch of his life, but dealt with, and Refresh has to be the one that throws a spanner in the works. 4 players coming his direction. First player dealt with, and Henry drops right into an opportunity. 3-on-3, this bomb can get down.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get planted. It's just, can he actually escape afterwards? Because there's 2 players that are watching him. That's a Mac 10 for Henry. Victoria at range with the M4, puts it down range. Devastatingly strong effect, but Henry does come out with the Mac 10.
Unlikely and unthought of clutch combos, but it feels like Henry and Letney, when they are playing together in late rounds, they simply work off each other perfectly. Get all the kills. Teams so far, they know this is a game of initiative. There's only one way to start off a round. Lakia just crept around that smoke, and Lobo was none the wiser.
The only downside is he wasn't able to trade up to the AK. He wanted to just get out of dodge as fast as possible. Don't get greedy. Now he's going to go for it. Tosses the FAMAS. That's why. That's why you don't get greedy like here. Get snatched away from Cat.
Made the right choice, and he was like, you know what? Actually, I will go back for it.
Dosia's position's pretty solid, though. Do they check this angle? MP9. And he's patient enough to sit here forever. He's one of those players that's very good at holding angles. Assad has him in a cross. What a shot from Cat that is. And patience proving to be a virtue in the very capable hands of Dosia. Nearly gets 2. Cat on 4 HP, though, gets yet another entry. Really coming alive here on Inferno. To be fair, Nuke, we already mentioned, really isn't a map that she plays much at all in her respective team. And now Victoria and Refresh have the arduous task of trying to crack back into the site, but that's a huge pick. Considering the low HP bars here, Yumi, this is winnable.
All about whether they can find Cat and dispatch of her quickly. They've got a decent crossfire inside of the site, but Letney can certainly pull his weight. It's been phenomenal all tournament, and Cat will cover the push. Victoria will track down Cat at the very end, but there is no time, no chance, and she will most certainly die with the bomb, if not for the headshot from Letney instead. Fantastic crossfire away from the site. The bomb radius on Inferno is very unforgiving these days. But great stuff, and yeah, great to highlight Cat, because we've seen on every single map so far, sure, she might have some slow CT starts, but her 15 kills for the captain so far leads the server. I do wonder if that will be the key difference we know moving into these playoffs. This first round has certainly been a factor, but we talked about how Loba, as one of the captains, has probably the most individual skill of any of them.
Speak of the man.
Wow, great.
Lovely double there for Victoria. I mentioned that she had a slow start in Mirage. Definitely not the case here. That AWP has been trained and it's been landing shots left and right. It's actually Dosia that's had a very labored, laborious time of things, and he was one of their better players on Mirage. So some players stepping up, but it may not be good enough to yield the victory here on Inferno, especially as their backs are against the wall so early on. Henry G and Cat, 50 seconds to play with, going to be playing together in tandem. Making moves up on the arches. Good entry frag from Henry, and they decide they're going to just bide their time a little bit and wait for rotations. I think they want to end on the A site. They're just seeing if they can catch a player beforehand. And the problem for them, though, is that it's Refresh that's in pit with full health. The one player you don't want to test is a player that's waiting for them.
You know, they're stretched thin, and Victoria does make her move into CT, but very delayed. So Refresh will be presented with these 2 opportunities. This smoke is not great. He can actually duck into Grave if they're not too careful. Scope as well from Victoria, I imagine, will distract them. Henry turns his attention and actually takes a tag. 3 HP, what remains, and Victoria will finish off business. But Refresh finds nothing from the pit, so it's a Cat 1-on-3 that's presented, and the nade doesn't do enough, but Victoria's head is plucked out. Lagia, long flank in from Deep Banana, and making his way up middle. Cat seems very privy to the idea, inserts herself at the back of the bomb site, and Lagia doesn't have the most amount of time to play with. No kit either, and Cat has his number.
Being calm, collected is so important at this stage of the game, though. But it was really started by the other female pro on the server, Victoria, who lands 3 really nice AWP shots. But it's still not good enough because Cat is so...
And what kind of lead Lobo will have moving into it. Could be an 11th round. They just hit the burners. See that logo's on fly. That logo is on fire. And Loba himself will try and act as a set of pliers to probe into this B-bomb site. Pliers may not be the tool for that. 3 players are here, though, and they've all got the FAMASs ready to go. Flash to facilitate. Dosia, the blind actually hits and converts onto Loba. If not for that flash, Lobo had that kill every day of the week.
They probably had 2, to be honest, because it looked like they're going to line up. There's a great grenade, by the way, tossed in like 150 damage worth, banks off the wall, tags Cat, Henry, Acor, all down to around 50, but they're still pressing the advantage, and they're going all the way around the world. They're going through the CT spawn. The problem here is, though, they've left the bomb carrier behind. So for all the information they're getting, for all of the real estate they're picking up right now, Letni is completely alone. Now, they may be able to get a backstab onto one of these players, but they still need to transition that bomb. And if Kassad can pick up the bomb carrier of Letni, it's an absolute disaster. Dosia, in the meanwhile, though, at range puts down Acor. What a strange round this has been so far.
If Kassad goes through this smoke, he could actually just get away, but no. Smoke fades and Letni gets a freebie shot in the back by ex-teammates, and that means Letni can get his bomb over towards the A bomb site. This was a very awkward-looking game state. Very infrequently do you see 3 Ts in CT spawn. 3 CTs on the B bomb site. They bypass them completely, and this is a round that surely feels lost. Great post plants. Legia does look out for it. Cat actually flubbing her lines, and Henry's on low HP, so still feasible. But Legia has to do a lot of the heavy action and does find Henry as well. Letni firmly on the bomb site and will be able to stand tall on this site, just ducking himself away. Legia tried to tap, but Letni does not fall foul. It will be an 11th for Team Loba.
Another great clutch. 15 and 8 for...
Been on such a strong streak of rounds towards the tail end of that half. So hard to say. It does feel like they've taken command of this game.
Flash will funnel away Loba, but there's no one there to really capitalize, so he can just stay in position. Decides to rotate. We're 3 players over there for a while. This timing may work against them, but the fact that Dosia is still way back at T-spawn side, they're also watching mid from refresh. This is going to be a very slow and steady round. And what an important pistol this is. If they were to concede, then Loba are on the fast track to secure their spot in the finals, and Team Dosia will know this.
Great spot for Cat to be holding for the A rotate, but missing her chances. Acor was tagged to low HP as well, so he vacates rather quickly. The rest of the team are en route towards this A bomb site, but it's a split that they're trying to attempt, going through CT spawn and trying to deal with and siphon the potential rotates back to A. They had no idea which of these sites was under siege, but Letni goes unchecked in at the new box, and they can't get this plant down. Victoria has to come off of it. Legia and her trying to crunch in, and they will succeed. Acor's low HP is that he was left with wasn't the one that was under threat in the end. Everybody else was under siege.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Acor just goes to save this Kevlar. It's worth quite a bit into the next round, allows him to upgrade to a pistol of some description, get some more utility as well for his teammates, maybe a kit. And so it's definitely worthwhile to hold on to this. In the meanwhile, though, it means that Dosia will get the second pistol. In fact, I'm not even sure Acor will be afforded the luxury of surviving because refresh is up. Oh, what a flick that is. On an angle you may be not expecting or anticipating at this stage of the game. That's just raw game sense and reaction speed combined. And now maybe getting pushed in from Dosia. This is significant, him saving the Kevlar.
Best team of this tournament so far. Went flawless in the groups, but takes all 3 to try and put down Team Dosia, who sat at the bottom for the longest time. Henry, over pushing, and Dosia will punish. Had a real chance for Henry to 180 him there. No headshot came out quick enough, but unable to adjust his aim in time. Loba's really just trying to be a nuisance around that smoke, but there's a firing squad there to receive him if he tried to go through.
Yeah, I think that's where the reputation of maybe Team Loba precedes them a little bit with going for those aggressive plays in rough buys. Dosia was completely on board and understanding of what was coming up against him, even if his aim wasn't quite there. Double stack on the close boxes. I'm not sure that molly will actually extend fully, and they may get caught off by this. You don't anticipate two players to be here. They do their due diligence and check the second angle. No, they don't, and it's to their detriment. As Letney just sprays them down, perforates with the SMG. You've got to check those angles.
Continues to impress with how consistent he has been this tournament. But there was a feasible way that they win that round. Just very, very slim margins, ones that they weren't able to convert on.
Almost an identical buy to the last round, but a deja vu. They got an AK, they got a few grenades and pistols alongside it. But 8 rounds to the good are Loba. And speaking of the man himself, he is following Letney around for his grenades. He's mugging him for those nades, those flashes, smokes. And now Refresh posted up. Meanwhile, as our observer has shown you, there is a rotation round from Acors, getting a lot of information. Refresh needs to have impact with this AK, but he's only on 7 HP. 1 bullet will seal the deal. Spray is good from Cat, who once again shows she is very capable with this rifle and continues to spray down and mow the oncoming tees. And there's the cavalry. It's arrived in the
overtime on Mirage. To have it be as one-sided as it has been here on Inferno, I don't think we would have anticipated that much from it, but it feels the length of this one, and Team Loba are much better position to take advantage of this. Fast play in from Refresh over at B, but the nade and the SMG of Loba, he's taking matters into his own hands. Victoria barely surviving with her life, but that nade could have finished off business had it bounced or banked. But Dosia, over the other side of the map, has been able to punish the flanking A-core and gets his hands onto a rifle. This is still feasible, but they need to hit very quick shots.
He's got it. He's got it in the palm of his hands, and he snatches it away with the lives of Dosia and Victoria. You could hear the bomb being planted, was just waiting. Played that one really, really solidly. He's going to wait for his teammates to pick up the AKs and get as much out of this round as possible with some surplus grenades. And that means that Team Loba have 10 chances, 10 rounds to secure their position.
Dosia in the groups on Cobble. He said, look, we just wanted to provide some extra content for the viewers. This is unideal. Victoria dealt with in the opening stages of this round.
Pop flashing Dosia into the boiler side. The smoke perfectly timed in his eyes, has to back off, gives his position away though in the process. 2 players mid. Maybe some desperation creeping in, and Acor gets a collateral through on apps. Through the smoke will protrude Legia's position, but Letney can't make the most of it. There's still 4 players left. They've got the bomb down in middle as well, and they're also going for a flank. This feels like it's the beginning of the end. The Loba's about to put down Dosia for good in this tournament. Refresh has been taken off the board. Legia, last man standing, all the way around the back of the B site. He may get the element of surprise, maybe can pick up 1 kill from this angle, and then there's a way to work back into this. But just judge off the amount of time where the bomb is, the people he's up against, their health bars. It's looking like this is a bridge too far for him. He'll try his best, but he's thwarted by Loba, and they've secured their spot in the grand finals.